Hey there, and welcome to the A.D.K Rock and Metal channel. I am Dave Dawes, one of the hosts, and also with me today is, of course, Andy Edwards, one of the other hosts, and also guitarist from Nomadic Rain. How you doing, Andy? You right?
Yeah, I'm very well. Thank you, Dave. How are you?
Yeah, not bad. Not bad.
It's the
I've got to
weekend.
stop saying that with a big sigh.
It's the weekend. Let's
It's the
enjoy it.
weekend. It's a Saturday night, and we're sitting here doing this. Yay! And probably on a Saturday night, the band that we're talking about today is probably playing a pub somewhere, and we're talking about the real McKoys. We're talking about their album, which is called The Greatest Bits. Normally, when we do these sort of album reviews, we kind of have to look at them in a certain way, and I think we have to be clear that we're not. I didn't look at this album in the same way that we would do a normal album review. Because we're looking at, usually with an album review, we're looking at the overall songwriting, the context of the album. Sometimes you talk about lyrical content, meaning. You're looking at overall professionalism. You go through the whole of that sort of thing. And you're looking at it as a piece of work on a journey of a band. Now, the Real McKoys is... They're a party band, is the best way I can put it, I would say. They're always they tend to be always at some big events, headlining events or pub events where they want a band that's playing covers, but they don't do covers the way that you would expect. They do alternative versions of well-known pop songs, basically. And we've had them. They've done some special covers for us at Metals the Masses events as well, but they weren't included in this. This one, when I got the album, same as you, Andy, I looked through it and went, all these songs I've heard before when we've seen them live. There wasn't a single song there that I've gone, I've never heard that. I've heard this. I don't know if there was any in there that you hadn't heard of before.
They're all 10 are sort of well-known songs to me from pop. You know, some classics as well, going back to the 70s, but I couldn't say I've heard every single one of these live. I've seen them a few times. Some are familiar from live sets I've seen, but I'm not sure I've heard every single one of these on stage.
I mean, to give people an idea, so the 10 songs that they basically do on this album is "Living La Vida," or "Living La Vida Loca," sorry, "All That She Wants," "Torn," "Rhinestone Cowboy," which is weird. That one is "Can't Help Falling in Love," "I Will Survive," "Angels," "Hero," "Hot Stuff," and "Careless Whisper." So just as a context of what we were going through. They mix a lot of different styles. So ska is one of the most obvious ones. There's some reggae influences in there, but ska is probably the one that stands out for me. I don't know if that's fair representation. Did you pick out anything else?
There's definitely some very obvious ska moments in several songs, but it's sort of I wouldn't say that was the primary sound for this particular outfit. There's pop punk in there. There is rock and metal. I mean, there's even a thrash moment in one of the songs. I'll have to look through my notes to find out exactly which one it was. And of course, inevitably, for Rhinestone Cowboy, there is a country.
Yeah.
Sort of the intro to that song. But they managed to pull off all these different styles really, really well. Mix them up. So there's not a ska song. There's not a rock song. There's not a pop punk song. There's all the intro might be one style, verse might be another, chorus might be another one, back to the verse style, and we carry on. But
yeah,
this is kind of exactly what I was expecting. It's sort of a real McKoy's set, recorded in the studio and recorded really well. The production value I think is really good. The instrumentation is really good. Drums are crisp and clear. The guitar tones are nice and varied and come through really well. Didn't hear much bass. I don't know about yourself, Dave. I mean,
on certain songs, like you can really hear it on things like "All That She Wants." It really cuts through there because it's specifically when the guitars and the bass are playing different counter melodies. You can see the separation. But when they full kick in, the tone of the bass gets drowned out a little bit by the guitar.
Yeah, I mean, there were some that I don't like the originals.
That doesn't help, does it?
Yeah, I Will Survive. I can't stand, and I was thankful that was only 2 minutes 22. But conversely, Angels by Robbie Williams, which I also hate, I absolutely love this one. It's one of my favourites off this album. They do a really good version of, I think, Robbie Williams' Angels, which again, a song that everybody knows. You call them Party Band. That's a song that's on every wedding disco playlist, isn't it? It was kind of like a stripped back version, but Kylie McKoy's vocals in this one were probably the best that they were throughout the album. He does a really good performance. And I say I listen to that any day of the week as opposed to the original. What else? Go on.
So I was going to say, I mean, there are a few songs that I liked. I mean, Torn. I do like Torn. I liked their rendition of Hot Stuff. I thought that was really good.
Yeah,
a lot of energy in that one. They were the two that kind of stood out for me.
Hot Stuff is sort of very live in up tempo, and sort of that sort of almost Iron Maiden like galloping heavy metal guitars in it as well.
Which I thought was good.
And then, correct me if I'm wrong, I noted down that sort of in the midsection it was almost like something they created and put in them. I didn't recognise it from the the original song. But then saying that, this is probably a song that I've only ever heard really on movie soundtracks or in films. So maybe I've not heard the original song start to finish. But there seems to be like a new passage in there. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. What do you reckon?
Can't remember. Don't make any notes on that. I think what I was trying to think about with this was when people sort of see, if you were looking at this and you're going, oh, it's a covers album, this will be really good. I love all these songs. Then I would say this is probably not a good album for you to get in the because they haven't tried to do this as a cover where they try to be completely faithful to the cover. They've taken the root of the song, they've taken the vocal core melody, if you like, and they've tried to use those. But generally, what they've done is they've just kind of taken it in their own directions. So I think knowing the original songs does help, because you can then kind of almost instantaneously sing along with it. And I'm glad they went off in a different direction. I'm glad they put their own spin on all the songs. I think what the guys are doing musically on the album worked really, really well. Torn was the only one where I thought they played it really safe overall. I think musically they didn't go too different. They kind of kept it fairly simple on the chords, but I did enjoy it.
So that one for me was sort of quite edging towards sort of metal, and I don't think that one sort of worked using sort of like the metal guitar tones and having that kind of influence on the song. I was saying that the lead melody harmony sort of later on in the song was absolutely spot on. That could be taken straight from the original. But did you think there was female vocals in that one? Backing vocals, rather? Again, you can say you can't remember. I just wonder if they drafted someone in to help them with that, because that was sort of a nice little touch as well.
Quite possibly. I've not got any notes on this, so I don't know if they did or not. I listened to the album the other day on it.
Yeah, an indication of the different styles. I mean, all that she wants, which is one of my favourites from here, is it's got a real ska feel to the sort of intro in the first verse. It's almost like you want to go, it's like that kind of ska, sort of typical late 70s, early 80s sort of ska, the British bands. And then it's got sort of a fast metal chorus, and it goes back to that ska style as well. So they like to mix it up. Rhinestone Cowboy is very faithful to the original at the beginning, with the sort of the country music sort of clean guitar, but then there's almost thrash riffing on the chorus of that one. So it's a real mix. So I agree with what you said. If you want to buy an album and think, I really like Living La Vida Loca or Hero by Enrique Iglesias, you're not really going to get a faithful rendition of it. You're going to get a multi-genre version from this band. I mean, Careless Whisper as well is another one. That is a real sort of slow, sort of end of the night disco, wedding dance sort of thing. Yeah, that's sort of double time tempo, and go again sort of like a metal breakdown in the middle, and that is a really good version as well. But it's a mile away from George Michael and it's a Wham track, wasn't it? It's, a mile away from that.
There's an element of curiosity with this album for me. It's not a case of it's not something I'd put on from a point of I want to chill out and listen to an album, but I do want to go. I want to see what they've done, and if they were to go out and go, we're going to do a new single, I'm guarantee I want to find out what the single is, because I want to see how they've done it.
Yeah.
It's always a point of curiosity with these songs, and they are fun live. Watching them live, it's always fun to see. They put a lot of work into it. I do have to talk about vocals. Now, having seen them live multiple times, I'm not a fan of the vocals of this band. I can say why. Basically, so he vocally reminds me of the singer from the Mighty Mighty Bosstones. So he does this kind of expressionism in his vocals. So he's always trying to emphasize everything, but he does it too much. So he's constantly on the go. So it's almost like he's doing a Vic Reeves parody of a karaoke singer at points. And I'm like, he's like, and I'm like, okay, just tone it down a little bit because you're on all the time. Yeah. And because of that, there are certain times where I think he pushes beyond. He's trying to go to above his limit. You can hear his strain in his vocals on some of the songs, where he's really trying to get that higher note, and it's really making it thin out a little bit. Because it sounds like he's putting on the voice. And that's something you've got to be really careful. When you're putting on this voice, it's very hard because it sounds like it's almost like this guy is doing a character, doing a bit. Which actually, when you're talking about it, they are doing a bit there. It's a bit of a comedic play. They're in between songs and stuff like that. So watching them live, it's fun to see that. I wasn't sure what it was going to look like when we then got to an album. If it was going to be completely different to live. And when I got the album, I was listening to it going, well, this is just exactly what I hear live, which means, okay, you can do it, but I was kind of expecting more from the album. I was expecting things like the straining of vocals at points to be smoothed out a little bit more, and it just to sound a little bit more stronger, polished. It just sounded like a live taped performance, personally. But yeah, there were points where I did find the first take was very difficult to get through the whole album, listening to the vocals, going, this is kind of off-putting. But by the second or third time of listening through the album, I was like, do you know what? I don't notice it as much anymore, and I've kind of got accustomed to it. So, but certain songs were better than others. Wasn't a fan, as I said. Rhinestone Cowboy wasn't great, and although you said Angels, but when he goes up and through it, it's like, he's straight, he can't get that high note. And that always, any singer who can't hit the note they're aiming for, always kind of makes me go, yeah, you shouldn't do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's the real McKoy sound. It's like I say, this album is exactly what I was expecting, having seen them live. And I wrote down sort of parody. It is almost like he's playing a character, and he's not singing in his natural voice. He's almost like singing in the style that he's created for the real McKoy's frontman, which is fair
exactly.
enough. And it does sometimes sort of go in the realms of parody, and almost, as you said, you mentioned Vic Reeves on Shooting Stars. It's almost like he's doing an impression, but I can't imagine him taking much time this year to get these right. It sounds like, that's great. That'll do, because he's not always. Colin McKoy's not always sort of replicating the vocal melodies of the original songs, and I don't think that's purely down to not maybe able to hit some of the notes. It's maybe just bringing a little bit more to the song, adding their spin on it, rather than it being a faithful rendition vocally, because musically it's not in many cases. You know, we talk about the different styles, but I really enjoyed it, and I'm glad I've got a sort of a digital copy to sort of go back to again, because I thought it was really good. Can't help falling in love. We'll have Elvis spinning in his grave if you could hear it, because that again, that's you know, maybe going into realms where you shouldn't do an alternative version, because it's an absolute classic song, and I do love that one. It sounded like an original guitar solo from Ed Littler,
right?
I don't know about. I think that's probably true, but yeah, overall, there was four of the tracks I really enjoyed, and the rest were decent as well. And it's a band I'd go and see live any day of the week. You know, they're entertaining. They've got such a broad appeal that they appeal to the heavy metal and rock fans at Club 85 and the metal stage at Ballstock, to somebody's wedding or 80th birthday party. They've got that appeal.
I mean, that's if you were to ask me, would I recommend someone buys the real McKoy's album? No, it's going to be my honest answer. Do I recommend that they should stream it? Yeah, if you've got curiosity, you stream it for fun. Should you go and watch them live? Fuck yeah. This is a live band, and if you like to drink, you'll enjoy it even more. Because in my opinion, this is a band that after you've had 3 or 4 pints, you're going to absolutely be down the front, you're going to be dancing away, and you're going to be singing along to every single one of these songs and having the fucking time of your life. And we've seen it time and time again, where these guys play live. That's exactly what they've done, and they've made a thing. This is not a band that needs to be done on an album. You just don't. I think probably there was a bit of pressure. People were going, you need to put these songs out. You need to put these songs out. So they've done it. Whereas other people do music to put their album out to then promote the band and move forward. These guys can go out and they can do the live circuit, and they'll get gigs, they'll get the bookings, they get paid for doing it, unlike most other unsigned bands. So it simply is, they're doing it for that reason. So I don't think in this case the album is a creative piece of art that they need to put out there. This is more a case of, this is the sort of thing you're going to get live when you book us as a party band for your venue. Yep. And for people who really like some of the songs live, I want to check them out afterwards. But yeah, I'm not going to sit there and recommend people go buy this album, put it on and listen to it and deconstruct the songs. It's not that sort of band, but it is fun. It is fun to check out. So there you go. Now, if you enjoyed our video today, please do like, share and subscribe, and we'll see you on another video sometime very soon. Take care.